1931 China Floods by Ainsley, Hollie, Caroline, Kelsie, and Allison.
Weather patterns causing the 1931 China floods. High levels of precipitation caused the flood. Poor management of rivers, droughts from previous seasons, heavy snowfall during winter parts all over the country. In spring, there was heavy rainfall. Rainfall worsened in the summer. There were a high number of cyclones during the summer months. Winter months were so harsh that they left snow and ice in the upper catchments of rivers. This is an image of the floods in China. Citizens were using boats to travel through the streets.
The magnitude of flooding in space and time. By early August 1931, one of the most populous regions in the world was underwater. Central China experienced devastating flooding that impacted an area the size of England. The Yellow River and Grand Canal also experienced major flooding. The center of the disaster zone was concentrated in 8 central provinces.
This disaster caused an economic shock with the price of vital commodities rising rapidly. During the first phase of the flood, roughly 150,000 people drowned. A total of 52 million people were affected and 2 million were killed. Those that survived faced a severe subsistence crisis. The flood washed away summer harvest and destroyed huge amounts of stored grain. Roughly 15% of wheat and rice crops were destroyed. In many areas, flooding continued into autumn, meaning it was impossible to plant a secondary insurance crop in winter. The total economic losses were equal to 1.5 years of net income per family.
Strategies in response to flooding. There are 2 approaches to flood mitigation: structural and non-structural. Structural forms attempt to prevent harm by reconstructing landscapes. Non-structural forms attempt to reduce damage by removing people and property from areas that are at risk. Structural forms include flood walls or seawalls, floodgates, levees, and evacuation routes. Non-structural forms include elevated structures, permanent relocation, zoning, subdivision, and building codes. Strategies in response to flooding continue. If flooding becomes too severe, communities may be asked to evacuate. For example, during Hurricane Ian, many cities in Florida were told to evacuate because of the wind speed in storms, but also because the flooding could be extremely dangerous. People can prepare for flooding by using flood mitigation techniques, creating an emergency preparedness plan, getting flood insurance, and having an evacuation plan as necessary.